Hello, everyone. We are on again for another speed round interview today with Rachel Warnick. What a nice name, Rachel. Hello.
Hello, and thank you so much.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So what we do is a speed round interview because my channel is all about creating the life that you desire.
Mm.
And by the way, whoever's watching, make sure to subscribe to that little red button right below if you want to know more about creating the life you desire. And I just want to do these interviews because it's not just me creating the life that I want and not just the clients I talk about, but I want to bring in guests like you, Rachel, to prove, hey, you can actually live the life that you
Yeah.
really love. Exactly. So let's dive right in and yeah, begin from the start. What's your full name?
Full name, Rachel Emily Warnick.
Okay. And where are you sitting right now? Which country?
Wow. So I'm actually in the USA, in New York City. This is just for a few months. I normally have the great privilege of living in Mauritius.
Ah, yeah, just like me. We're, traveling the world and yeah, online world is beautiful. So can you tell us what you do?
Okay, well, I have two hats. The primary one and my first love is education. I am a teacher, facilitator, and I design learning programs.
And what topic?
So my first true love was English as a foreign language. And from there, it was a natural process to branch out into communication skills. And I found myself teaching professional skills and academic skills, both to young people and to people in the business world.
All right. Um, was there a moment in your life that you transition into figuring out, what is it that you love? You how did you find out what you like and what you love and what you're passionate about?
Absolutely. Well, back in my 20s, I spent most of my 20s traveling and working abroad. And part of that was teaching English. I was tutoring in Taiwan and then teaching in mainland China. And that I put that aside and I moved to London, had a nice career in business, but I've never felt happy, never felt fulfilled. And I had a light bulb moment one day that when I realized that it was my few hours of volunteering every week that made me happy, and I needed to switch so that I was happy full time and listen to the voice that all these years had been telling me, go back to teaching, go back to teaching.
Yeah, wonderful. And it's yeah, but you and I are able to listen to that voice and to make it happen. But for a lot of people, it's hard to listen to that voice. So, how did you make the choice? Because I mean, if you're having a career and everything goes well and you're earning good money, and then the teaching is I mean, admittedly, I teach online too. It's always a bit of insecurity, and you don't really know. And will you have clients? And will you have income? So
Sure.
that's kind of the thing I want to dive into now, because a lot of people are like, yeah, it's nice to have an intuition and a nice things to do, but how do you make money from it? And how do you beat that insecurity?
Well, in fact, I didn't listen to that voice for many years. And
Mm,
I continued to have a life that was fine, but
yeah,
there was nothing great about it.
that's the thing.
And yes,
It's
exactly.
okay.
It was okay. And I thought, do I want to be okay? And when I realized the contrast between, the couple of hours every week where I was volunteering in roles that involved teaching and facilitating, and I was so happy. And you think, I can't, like 50 hours a week in my job versus 2 hours a week of happiness, this is not right. Um, so I thought mentally, yeah, at that point, mentally, I just took the leap. Now, I think it's also very important to plan. So I planned a strategy, I planned financially because I was upping sticks. I was leaving the country, I was leaving Europe, selling everything. So you do need a strategy, but that first step is a leap of faith and you just have to do it.
Yes, I get that, but I like what you said because I'm kind of always saying, you know what? I never tell people to just jump and follow your heart and just do it all. But because I like what you said, you planned it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really a crucial thing. It's yes, it's following your heart. Yes, it's following your intuition, but you did plan it because you can't
Yes.
just jump and leave everything behind. So how did that planning go? How did you make it happen?
Well, for me, there was the financial component.
Mm.
So I had to make sure that I had settled everything financially in the UK where I was living, and saved up what I had calculated to be my margin of safety, my security net for the next 6 to 12 months
Okay.
of the life. Also the practicalities, what I was, where I was going to do, how that was going to tie into what I wanted, and how I was going to manage things that were left back behind. So things like my family, things like items that I wasn't selling that I was storing somewhere, all the practicalities.
Yeah, and so the main thing was that you did spend time saving so that you had a
Yes.
certain amount that could, pull you through financially and get you through those first months. Okay, good. And then how did you, I mean, working online is beautiful, and for you it's teaching, but how did you find, how do you find your clients or the places that you teach, or how did you find that?
In fact, I don't teach online. I do short courses abroad. And so there are certain websites that I use, and now I've built up a network, and so we share information amongst ourselves. So I go and do a week, maybe a 1 week camp in Italy, or a 3 month camp. I've done a 3 month camp in Russia, or, here and there. So that's the way I do it. And yeah, I just in the beginning I was very careful. I started out volunteering because I had my safety net, and then I hit the point where I knew I had to switch over and earn money, and so I went back and forth for a couple of years between the two.
Mm. And so now you are earning through your teaching. And so for people who are interested in teaching, because I know a lot of people, they love teaching and they want to
Yeah,
find these things by, a lot of people want to travel the world
yeah.
and teach as well, but where can they start looking then?
So if you have, I strongly recommend having, at the very least, a TEFL certificate
Yes.
for teaching.
Mhm.
If not a full CELTA, I think a CELTA is fantastic. But one of the best websites I use is TEFL.com.
Oh,
And they have such a fantastic range of things. The other one would be Dave's ESL Cafe. I think those are two fantastic places to start. And then as you get a feel for it, you can start branching out, looking at other places.
yeah.
Those are two excellent ones, and they cover huge portions of the world.
And they are paid.
I'm sorry?
They are paid as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. The with a
And do you have
with
to,
a very few volunteer exceptions,
yeah,
most
yeah.
of those opportunities,
And
yes.
do you pay for your own accommodation then?
I personally, I've always chosen roles positions that offer accommodation.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah. So for me, the freedom lifestyle is, doing what I want, where I want, and especially, being in all these different locations around the world. What does a freedom lifestyle mean to you?
Well, I've been thinking about this over the weekend, since you posed the question. And this morning I was thinking, how am I going to say this beautifully? And I received an email, and just by chance, it had this: the most satisfying form of freedom is not a life without responsibilities, but a life where you are free to choose your responsibilities.
Oh, I'm gonna write that down.
I'll send that to you. I just thought that was so perfect, because you can't escape responsibility. And in fact, most of us don't really want to, but the freedom to choose is
Hmm.
true freedom, I think.
All right. The question that I always end up, final question actually, is what are your best, either one tip or tips for people who really want to live a freedom lifestyle, no matter how you define it? The definition of freedom is different for everybody, but for
Sure.
people who are now, my clients are ambitious professionals who are doing, just like you said earlier, like we're doing okay, we're having a career, we're having financial security, but it's not the life that we're dreaming of. It's not the life that we're meant to live. So what
Mhm.
are your tips that you can come up with right now that you could share with us?
Uh, uh, Definitely connect it with your passion. So if you're in a job that isn't really feeding your soul, don't try to do that job in another country, because you're just changing the decoration. You're not
Mm.
changing the interior. Really find out what it is you want to do and pursue that. The days are gone where there were only a few professions that allowed you to travel and work. There's so much potential now. There's so many things that can allow it. So follow, honest to goodness, follow your heart, because that's going to bring internal freedom first and foremost. And then yeah, and be proactive. There's a lot of things that a lot of opportunities that you can create for yourself, and just let your imagination run wild.
Beautiful. Yeah. Find your passion, follow that passion, let your imagination run wild. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's like dream and dream big, right? I mean, yeah,
Yes,
you can do it if you really truly believe in that and follow
for
it.
sure.
That's beautiful, Rachel. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I
Thank you.
loved it. And we're like right on 10 minutes right now. So if people want to connect with you, we'll put some of your links right below this video. But
Super.
can they just find you? What's your social
On
handle or
social media, yes.
yeah?
I use my name, Rachel Warnick.
Yeah.
I'm on
Perfect.
Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn and TikTok, and I am on Instagram as well.
Awesome. I'm sure people will find you and want to connect with you. So have a wonderful continuation, and maybe we'll cross paths somewhere in the world. And
Fantastic.
lovely, lovely to have you in this interview. So thank you again, and thank you everyone for
Thank you.
watching. And creating the life you love, it's truly possible. So make sure you continue to watch these videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.